appreciate you guys coming down, trying to, it's not necessarily exposed, but it's to highlight the area, because we've had a lot of politicians come down and they make claims of, oh, we want to turn this place around, get you a shelter down here, and or a place just to wash clothes.
Yes.
And it never pans out to anything. So it never does, and mainly because of head to the right, mainly because of the crime and everything. Personally, I think this corner at Sycamore View and
left.
Shelby Oak, go left, is one of the most dangerous corners in Memphis.
I agree.
So we've had people killed at the Sunco, which used to be the Sit-Go, more than one. They had one just a few weeks ago. Waffle House on your left was robbed the other night. That place there has a lot of prostitution in it. All these hotels really have a lot of human trafficking, and drugs, and everything. So, the reason is because they can pay cash, they can pay by the hour, they can pay with Croc cards. You see a bunch up under the overpass. I don't know if you caught that or not.
Yes.
But you have to catch it one on the corner. But they're all, like I said, all these hotels, a lot of them are owned by one family. And you want to go to the right. I'm just going to go down towards the school.
Okay.
Down on your right. But
And just a second before we go any farther, just to introduce yourself.
Sorry, but I'm Pastor Allen. I'm with the Calvary Church of the Nazarene. I'm the street mission pastor. I've been down here 2.5 years. So nobody sent me down. It was a calling by God. So that's how I got down here. Because a person of the right mind wouldn't come down here. So, and do what we're doing. Well, you're fine. But,
Yeah.
You're fine. But, getting out in the dirt and stuff like that. So, just kind of turn around here and just kind of point the other way.
But that's what we're here for. That's exactly to get to the complete and utter bottom of it, and to go places that, like even you said, the politicians that come down here, anyone that comes down here, the news channels, they're never going to go as deep as I'm willing to go.
Right.
Because you're not going to figure it out on just a base level. And a lot of these guys aren't going to talk to the people like that.
Just turn around anytime you want.
Okay.
We're going to point back up the other way. Yeah, it's an epidemic out here, and we can get into traffic and prostitution, but let's start with the basic of just the homeless. Actually, they're more shelterless than homeless.
What gets them out there, kind of, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, some of them, they get a hotel room here and there, but a lot of them are living in the woods. You have at least, I think, maybe 24 living in the woods.
Wow.
At least. And they're shelterless because they won't even go to a shelter.
And what's keeping them out of the shelters?
A lot of it is their own pride, or they think, oh, somebody stole my shoes. Just pull up the sidewalk here real quick.
Okay.
Yeah, just park here real quick. Yeah, they get, a lot of it is pride, really, if you think about it. And they're like, oh, I got my shoes stolen, or the only shelters are downtown. It's really spread out.
Yes.
There's no shelters out here at all. There are some houses that for rehabilitation and stuff not far from here, but in down summer and that. But as far as shelters, there aren't any around here.
And how does that make any sense? Because this is the highest concentration by far, correct?
They're down at Cleveland and Poplar.
Mm-hmm.
There's a concentration of about 200 homeless down there.
And what do you think this number's at right now?
It used to be like 250, but at least 200 over the last couple of years have either disappeared or overdosed or left.
And that's been pretty much since fentanyl and human trafficking has jumped up.
Yeah, and now you have xylazine out here, but you still probably have a good population. I'd say you have at least a good population, 200 to 300, especially in the hotels and everything at least. And there's families in these hotels too that live in here.
Are these families as in families that are also in the same situation, or families that are just trying to get by, work a normal life, and this is all they can afford?
The latter.
And they're just mixed in with it.
They're mixed in with it. There's bus stops down at these hotels to school. So, let's head on up.
Okay. How much does it cost a night to get one of these hotels?
It's about $70. That's kind of the average. Depends if the owners like you or not.
So a good day on a corner, you could probably make enough to get high and get a room if you do, if you have a good day.
Yeah, a lot of times they do. But lately they haven't been. The Memphis Inn right here on your left, that's where a guy was shot 2 nights ago, or a couple nights ago. So he was shot. He's still alive. But let's go on through the stoplight.
And was that homeless on homeless, or was that
no, that
another
was
thing?
That was something else. I don't know the full story of it. There's one of their women of the night, prostitutes, right there. But yeah, I don't know what the full thing is because there's a lot of gangs and stuff out here. So if you're gonna go up to the car wash on your left, and we're gonna kind of turn around in that parking lot.
What are the cops' stance on this? What do they do in this area? I mean, you really don't see them in this area, to be honest.
No, you don't. Like, we got one in front of us there, and he's turning around for whatever reason. But they run the people off the corners because you have businesses and other things saying, we don't want this kind of people down here. You know, this graffiti you see here, that wasn't there 6 months ago. That's all fairly new. But you can turn around anytime in here if you want.
And also stuff like that gets blamed on the homeless people that probably have nothing to do with that.
And it has nothing to do with it. It's somebody else.
But it's so much easier to blame them because they're out here and they're right in front of your face.
Yeah. There was a rash of break-ins over in Bass Pro, probably a year and a half ago, where somebody broke windows into cars and stuff like that. They were trying to blame it on the homeless people, but it was actually people that came up from Nesbitt.
No, really?
Yeah,
they were breaking in the Bass Pro Shop.
Yeah, no, into the cars.
Oh,
Yeah, so let's stop here. So if you look on your left, that used to be an old service station. You know, change tires, oil, and stuff like that. And it's all abandoned up.
You know what that actually used to be as well?
I can't remember the name.
When I worked at Valvoline, my first job, that's the training center.
Oh, wow.
And it's like it's pretty much built the same way, but they didn't service cars, but it was just to show you.
Yeah.
But yeah, that I remember at the time, even when I worked back there so long ago, they were talking about they couldn't keep that as the service center because people were coming to, you know, they're going to work in Collierville and they're having to drive out here to go to their training center, and that's not a good look.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
Yes.
I didn't know that. Yeah, there used to be a guy living behind the dumpster. He was military vet, lost his legs some point in a wheelchair, but I haven't seen him in a good year and a half.
How prolific is the population of military vets in this Memphis area? Not even in this area.
I only know a handful. And one I was trying to find today for you to interview Austin. I was trying to find. I know he's a vet. You got some others that claim to be vet to get the pity when they fly off the ramp. There was one guy in particular, I'm not going to say his name, but he's like a disabled vet or homeless vet, and he gets his money because he's advertising that I'm a vet, and people take pity on him. But there's very few that actually make a lot of money on the streets, on the corners now, because I think a lot of it has to do with the economy, to be truthful with you.
You were saying you don't know if it has to do with the economy?
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with the economy. You would have people get $40, $60, $80 in a day, flying on the ramp, or even more. And now they're averaging like $6. Like the guy you talked to, Kevin, he hasn't made $1 in 4 days.
Do what?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
You know that's not the perception, correct?
I know.
People think they make, just like I just said a minute ago, people think they make enough money to eat, get high, get a room, and they're choosing this life.
It used to be that way. It used to be that way at least 6-9 months, actually a year ago, when the whole administration changed on stuff. No, he didn't make $1 in 4 days. I was chatting with him when I was getting some coffee at McDonald's.
And this was Christmas. This was at Christmas.
Yeah. The guy the other guy that came up that was talking there a little bit, he's made like $8 in 2 days.
Wow, that
ain't even enough to get your drugs.
That's not enough, and that's way before they eat. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now a few of them out here, their drug addiction is a true addiction of like, man, they love the high. Okay, then you have some that claim to only maintain. They may have some back injuries or something like that for the pain. They only maintain, but they can't get a job. They can't do anything because it's enough of a debilitating injury that they can't work except for fly out here. So they get just enough to maintain the pain. And I know some that have had surgery and had the fentanyl patches They got them hooked.
I mean, to really break it down, the opioid crisis. I'm a little bit younger, so pre-opioid crisis, I was a young child.
Yeah.
But you've probably been seeing this. I don't know how long you've lived in the city, but there is a difference since since they pushed the pills, since everyone got addicted to them. There's people on the streets that would not have been on these streets.
I agree.
If it wasn't for prescription pain medicine.
I totally agree. And now you have this thing called xylazine.
Yes.
The animal tranquilizer. They call it Tranq out here, or zombie or whatever. That is what they're searching for now. You can't even find heroin out here anymore. It's either fentanyl mixed with basalts or whatever. I mean, I got some stories about that too. But now it's all xylazine mixed with fentanyl, and they say it's just like the first high they ever had with heroin.
Every time.
Every time. It's like honey in the veins, as they call it, every single time. And they gravitate towards that. And you got some that shoot it, but their arms are just wasting away because it rots the skin.
This isn't ketamine.
No, this is not ketamine. This is xylazine.
So this is it the same kind of thing as a ketamine, or this is more...
It's a more potent ketamine.
Wow.
Yeah, it's more potent ketamine.
That's what's called... It's so strong. That's
yeah.
That's what's called... It's not meant for human consumption.
No, it's not meant for human. It's meant for cattle and horses.
Wow.
But they're taking it because it gives them that honey in the vein every single time, and their arms are wasting away. They call it zombie or Croc.
Moved over here.
You've seen it in like Pittsburgh and Pennsylvania and stuff like that. Now it's down here. It didn't get down here until about 4 months ago, really, 4 to 5 months ago. But they're smoking it too, and they're complaining. It's like, man, my mouth is all sore and stuff. It's like, what do you expect?
High level chemicals.
Yeah.
Straight into the most sensitive part of your body.
Exactly. Like I said, a lot of them stop shooting up to smoke it.
To keep from rotting your arm away, and then you rot your mouth away. And it's so good that it just doesn't matter. Is that not almost a little bit too convenient how they went from heroin, and not saying they, to fentanyl, who is, how, you can only go so deep in a few minutes, but
yeah.
Why is it just progressive? And what is the next step? Are we just going to give them stuff that one shot kill, but it gets them so high that it's worth it? Like,
man,
is that the end?
A lot of them. This is the biggest question I have. Being a pastor, and they did ask me the biggest question, the most frequent question is, if I overdose, is that considered suicide?
That is
it's
intriguing.
A question.
That's profound.
And I did a lot of research and talking to people and praying on it and everything, and I'm like, it comes down to intention. It really does. It's just like drinking and driving, in a way. I mean, the drugs are a little more, whatever you want to call it, but it's still the same kind of intention. I didn't mean to drink, or I didn't mean to crash when I got drunk and drove, but I killed myself or somebody else, whatever. That's murder, and that. But it's not considered suicide by the government.
Yes.
I forgot which one branch of it is, and even when you get into the drugs, they don't consider overdoses suicides in most cases.
I found that so weird because my father died from fentanyl overdose. He had just gotten out of prison. He went in before the fentanyl really got super, prolific, and he was still able to get heroin before he went in.
Yeah.
When he got out, his girlfriend at the time was like, oh, no one's doing the heroin. You can't find it anyways, pretty much just like you're saying.
Yeah.
He wasn't used to the fentanyl. He didn't know how much he could do.
Right.
And he OD'd. She left him. He had Narcan in the drawer right beside him. Yeah. And he could have been saved. But like you said, just thinking of that, how fast it progressed. He was a drug addict from the time he was 16 years old.
Yeah.
He knew about drugs more than anybody else,
Yeah.
But it moved so fast on him that he had no idea and wasn't ready for it.
A lot of times I've heard and talking to people, because I've had them shoot up in front of me and that, and we'll get moving here in a minute. But but they say, I knew what was happening before I ever got the needle out of my arm.
Really?
Yeah, it was that quick. Like with your father, it's like they feel it coming, and the tunnel vision and everything, and they can't even get the needle out of their arm.